everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about whether or not I personally am a racist. But before I get into that, I've got some good news to share. I got a new sponsor. As you know, I've been beating the drum for Buy American, right? And secure our borders and all that to keep the drugs from coming across and the criminals and stuff. So I found a sponsor who, helps me kill two birds with one stone. So I'd like to introduce you to Seth. Seth cooks crystal meth down here in Florida. So for any crackheads or meth heads that watch my channel, I'd like you to know that Seth's meth is completely 100% made in America. And not only that, but he swears that it's non-addictive. If you have a job or a hobby that keeps you up several days at the computer coding night after night, Seth's meth is the ideal solution. And this is the absolute truth, it's the #1 recommended crystal meth by Amish software engineers throughout the nation. That's a fact. Every Amish software engineer in America recommends Seth's meth. So go to www.tweaking.com/Gen X Thinks and order you a batch of Seth's meth right now. And the good news is that Seth's last competitor blew himself up the other day, so Seth's business is booming. So he's able to sponsor us. Yeah, here in Central Florida, we've got all kind of meth heads out there cooking up meth, but way out in the forest. But you can still hear the explosions once in a while. I'm serious. Those things go up like a damn, I don't know, like a gas, like a butane can or something. They just, once in a while, there'd just be an explosion. My wife will ask me, what was that? I think it was a sonic boom. Freaking meth labs blowing up out there in the forest. Oh, shit. Yeah. You gotta love America. Come on now. Come on. We gotta laugh at ourselves on top of all this other shit. All this shit that's going on. What? Any Greenlander out there? Yeah. Welcome to America, Greenland. We'll be blowing up meth labs near you soon. You won't be able to buy Sudafed without an ID here in a couple months. You're welcome. But anyway, am I a racist? And for those of you, I'm gonna go back into a little history trip just for the people that are younger that might watch this. So back in the 70s and 80s, we all grew up being taught that there was no difference between people. Everybody of different colors, we were all the same. You treated people the same. You gave them respect. No matter what the color of their skin, it didn't matter. This kind of thing. We were all the same. We were all equal. There was no difference. The color, a person's skin color did not matter at all. Okay, that's how we grew up. That's what we learned. That's what, that's how it was. Now, to illustrate that, I have a little story about myself growing up. Now, my father, my family has Native American blood, and my father was like deeper into that culture, right? And he didn't like white people. I'll just be honest. Not like today don't like white people. He just didn't like the way he saw white people, as in backstabbing and stealing from each other and clawing to get to the top, and all about money, the corporate kind of, banker, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of what I grew up around. So all my dad's friends, almost all, were Native American or Hispanic, right? And it wasn't like he never told us to treat them with respect because their skin color. He never pointed out their skin color to me and my brothers and sisters. It was just, you treat adults with respect. Their skin color never came into it. So literally I grew up, just the skin color didn't even cross my mind. So one time in the third grade, I think it was the third grade, my best friend was a little black kid named William, and we would, like when the teacher would tell us to get in pairs and do a little assignment or whatever, me and William would always pick each other, and we'd sit at the table together and we'd do our assignment together. Well, one day, I don't know why, just out of the blue, he asks me if he just looks up at me and asks me, is your dad in the Ku Klux Klan? And hell, I didn't know what he was talking about. I had no idea. And that's the honest truth. I'm in third grade, and my dad he's not into that shit. I've never heard those words before. And I looked at him, but I didn't want to sound stupid and tell him what's that, so but I knew my dad wasn't in any kind of group. My dad didn't have a job. He didn't go out and do shit. He was a horse trainer. And so I knew my dad wasn't in any kind of group. So I just said, no. Is yours? And of course, William being black, he freaked out. I forget exactly what he said in response to that, but he he wigged out a little bit, and I don't want to seem stupid in front of him, like I don't know what's going on. So I just shrugged it off, and changed the subject or whatever, and we finished our assignment, and nothing else was said about it until I got back home and told my dad what had happened and told him the story. And of course, my dad laughs his ass off, but he has to explain to me what the Ku Klux Klan is and why his William's dad would not be in the Ku Klux Klan. So that's just how I grew up. Skin color did not matter at all. And for most of my life, I would not be considered racist by anyone. You know what I mean? Just no one that knew me would think I was racist until recently. Now, number one, they're misusing the word racist. It's just, what they mean is prejudice. If you look it up in the dictionary, they mean prejudice. Racism means that you believe that your race is superior to all others. And as I've just pointed out, I'm a mixture of races. So which part of my blood inside is superior to the other part of my blood inside me? You know what I mean? Which one of my forefathers was superior to the other one? And a lot of us in America, and maybe throughout the world now, are in that boat. We're all mutts. We've got a little bit of stuff inside us from different parts of the world. Even within the white people, there are a lot of different bloodlines and races inside the white people. You have the Norwegians and the Germanic and all this different stuff. So it's hard to really say, when you get down to it, DNA wise and that kind of stuff, what race are we talking about when we're talking about white people? So there's a lot of different races. And then prejudice means you can be prejudiced against one thing. You know what I mean? You can be prejudiced against many things, but you're prejudiced against something outside. That has nothing to do with you. You're prejudiced against something outside. But prejudice, you could be prejudiced against anything. I can be prejudiced against, weavers or clowns or anything. I can be prejudiced against anything. Astronauts. anything. So that really doesn't work with the kind of hatred and vitriol and division that they're trying to instill in us. So they needed something better. So they started using racism, which just doesn't fit there, but society has adopted that word. But now, not only that, they've taken the word racism, and now they're using that as a blanket statement for all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with race now. Absolutely nothing to do with race. So if you're opposed to illegal immigration, and because of illegal drugs, because of rape, murder, now they're burning our country to the ground. They're eating our pets. If y'all haven't seen that Trump, some guy made a music video of that, like a little thing. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. If y'all haven't seen that, you got to look that shit up. That it's hilarious. This guy makes a song out of Trump saying that they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. It's hilarious. But yeah, all that stuff. Now, if you're opposed to those things, them burning LA to the ground, them literally raping children in the UK, just all this Sharia law stuff and all this other stuff going on, them flooding these blue states with voters and population to shoot their population up, right? So that they get more seats in the House and all this stuff. All these political reasons, they want these immigrants flooding into their state. Now, if you're opposed to any of that, then now you're a racist. Okay? So, according to these new parameters for racism, I am a racist because I don't think people should come across the border by the millions illegally without any kind of vetting, without any kind of allegiance to this country. I just don't believe that. There are all kinds of other stuff too. They will call me transphobic, even though I'm not afraid of trans people in the least. They'll call me a bigot because I don't believe that men should compete in women's sports. They use these terms now, and there's just no rhyme or reason or meaning behind the words anymore. They seem like insulting words, so they throw them out there. They vomit them on you. So racism is a horrible word. And true racism is by the definition of the word, it's unacceptable. It shouldn't be in any kind of polite, civilized society. And the word that they want to use, which is prejudice, right? That's the word they mean to use. And that aimed at a person's skin color, prejudice against another race just because of their skin color. That is unacceptable. Now, you can be prejudiced against, in my opinion, you can be prejudiced against Christians if you want because they behave in a certain way, or Muslims, or whoever, satanic cults, be prejudiced against satanic cults. That's fine. But be prejudiced against someone strictly for their skin color before you know them, that's unacceptable. But according to today's standards, I am racist. I admit it. I'm putting it out there because they have changed the definition of racism and racist. I can't get away from it, so I'm going to own it. I'm going to normalize it. I'm okay with it because I am tired of being afraid of being called a racist. I am tired of being afraid of being shouted at and screamed at and insulted with this term because I equate this term with with its actual meaning: racism and prejudice. But that's not what it means anymore. So I am going to embrace this new meaning and stop being afraid of it. I'm going to own it. I want our borders to be secure. I don't want drugs trafficked into our country. I don't want our cities burned to the ground. I don't want our children raped. And if that makes me a racist, then I own it. I'm a racist. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll leave that link down in the description too. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check out the stuff we have over there. Pretty cool stuff, Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us in the emails over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.